of all times. All time or all times. It's with an S. So, of all the times, if you're not familiar with Jeannie B, she is an ASMR artist who has a really warm, comforting presence. Most of her videos are soft-spoken. And when I saw this video a while ago, I had in the back of my mind that it would be fun to do because I have been watching a lot of this type of ASMR video lately. This sort of very casual questionnaire and Q&A type videos. I also thought that it might be good to have more sort of get to know me type of videos on my channel. I love watching those too, and I always look for them when I find a new channel. So let's get into it. So this questionnaire has 4 sections: about you, a deserted island one, a people one, and a historical one. So we will start with about you. So question 1. Favorite drink, 1 hot and 1 cold. And if a bug landed in it, would you still drink it? My favorite hot drink is probably a vanilla latte. My favorite cold drink is probably Coca-Cola, like regular. But I don't have it all that much because my stomach is not a fan. And if a bug landed in it, would you still drink it? That really depends on the bug, don't you think? Some bugs, if they landed in your drink, I think hardly anyone would want to drink it. There are very gross bugs, but then other ones that are like, I don't know, medium gross, light gross. Like, I don't know, mosquito. I think if it's anything other than one of those little tiny gnats, I would not drink the drink. If it's one of those tiny gnats, I would probably drink the drink and just fish it out and drink the drink. Except if it's easy to replace the drink, I might not, but anything other than that, like if a mosquito was in my drink, that's the mosquito's drink now. Favorite fashion designer or brand would you wear 5 days a week, and cost is not an issue. Okay, for this, I find myself wanting to pick something fancy, like a designer, but I feel like I'm not familiar enough to know who would have comfortable enough clothes for 5 days a week. If it were, every weekend, I might want to wear fancier clothes, but is there a designer that has really good, like, athleisure? I think I don't know enough fashion designers, so I'll just say, like, Free People, because they have a really wide variety of things I like, including, like, athleisure, athletic wear. They have everything from that to wedding dresses. Number 3. Favorite dream destination, all paid, and you'll spend 6 months there. I really haven't traveled all that much. I only got a passport recently to go to my friend's bachelorette trip in Mexico, which isn't even that far from the United States. I think I might want to go somewhere in Europe so that I could do a lot of day trips, because I feel like everything is kind of close people in France speak English. But yeah, somewhere in England or France. Maybe France. But I would have to do research before picking the city itself. Because I feel like I could explore a lot of different places during that 6 months. Because 6 months is a pretty long time. If I were picking a dream destination for a smaller period of time, I would probably want to do somewhere really secluded, like a really, really gorgeous island with crystal clear waters, or a friend of mine was just in the mountains in like Switzerland, I think, and it looks so gorgeous, just very secluded resort area. But that's really nice for a little while, but I'm not sure I would want to be there for 6 months. I'm so curious if any of you have an answer to this question about the dream destination for 6 months. Let me know if you want, and if you're awake. If you could have anyone do a makeover on you, who would it be? Oh man, there's so many directions that this could go in. My first thought was Pat McGrath. Well, if you don't know, she is a very well-known makeup artist who does some more creative makeup a lot of the time for runways. And I think she does more commercial stuff too. But I feel like it would be extremely fun to have her do one of her more creative looks on you. And I'm sure she probably has good taste when it comes to clothes and hair and stuff too. I would trust her. Number 5. Do you dance and or sing? Really bust a move or belt it out when you're alone? I definitely dance and bust a move when I'm alone. A very fun way to spend time. I really don't sing that much when I'm alone, which is maybe a little bit weird because I used to sing a lot. I don't know if it would be a stretch to say that I've sung professionally. How much do you have to do to call it professional? But I she asked me, do you ever sing for fun? Just because you like it? And I just was kind of like, no. And she was like, well, try that. So I've been thinking about that a lot lately. And it makes me think I kind of only want to sing if it's fun. And for the fun of it and because it feels good. And I don't want to sort of force myself to get back to some certain kind of standard or whatever. I think some other people want me to, but I think I'm only gonna do it if I want to, because making music can feel so amazing when you are more so doing it for fun, or when you get into kind of a flow state. And I think I just want to let myself ease back into it and see where I go. That's quite a long answer to the question. So all that's to say, I don't really belt it out when I'm alone. Now at least. Not lately. Okay, so next section, which is the deserted island section. You're on a deserted island. There's food and water, so you won't die. Number 1. What music album would you choose to have with you? And you have some form in which to play it. Oh my gosh, what a hard question. I might want maybe a Beatles album, maybe either the White Album or Abbey Road, or their number ones collection, like their album of number 1 hits. Out of all of those, like maybe Abbey Road. I love the Beatles, and I just feel like that's something that I might not get sick of. But it's so hard. If I had time to look it up before going to the deserted island, I might try and cheat and find some kind of super long compilation album to have more variety on the island. Number 2 for the deserted island category. What flower would you choose to propagate there? Roses, maybe. Will they survive? I have such a black thumb. Is there something easier that I can grow? In this hypothetical where the propagating is happening, I think I would like to have some island roses. Number 3. What beauty product or toiletry item would you have? Okay, you can have 2. I mean, I think I want sunscreen very badly, because otherwise it's going to be a rough time for me on the island. Then maybe I think I would bring tweezers, just to keep, like, I don't know, eyebrows and stuff neat, and I would say a razor, but it would get dull, whereas tweezers should last for the whole time on the island. Number 4. What animal would you give a voice to so you could converse? And you get to have that animal on the island. A dog. No question. Easy answer. A great friend to have on the island. And they can use their sense of smell and animal instincts to help with a lot of stuff. Number 5. You get 2 books to have with you. 1 fiction, 1 non-fiction. And you must read them over and over. What books are they? Well, that sounds kind of torturous. The non-fiction has has to be some kind of medical book, you know, to help us not die on the island for as long as possible. Some kind of medical textbook. And the fiction book. My first thought is Alice in Wonderland. And part of it is because it has poetry in it. And so I think that would help it not get as old, though it is really short. But that's all that's coming to mind. A book of poetry, fiction. Does that count as fiction? That would be great. Because poetry is something you can really unpack over a long period of time. So I think that might actually be nice to read over and over. Because with really good poetry, it's like it opens more and more the more you read it, the more you look at it. And it might be nice and fun to say out loud too. So I change it from Alice in Wonderland to some kind of poetry, anthology, if that counts as fiction. Okay, now on to the third of the 4 sections, and the third section is people. Question number 1. What is your favorite quality in a person? My first thought is dependability or loyalty, maybe. When you know someone is always there for you, it's a pretty amazing thing. Being funny is also great, but I think I value, like, I don't know, kindness, dependability, loyalty, all of that over humor. Number 2, you're very old, and at the end of your days, what warning would you give to your 20-year-old self that you think you would actually listen to as a 20-year-old, and one that would make a real difference? I have an immediate answer to this. I would tell my 20-year-old self what autoimmune disorder I have, so that I would not have to spend so many years feeling unwell and not knowing what the problem was, and having doctors be like, you're fine, it's great, because my autoimmune disorder doesn't show up on blood work sometimes, and it's just not for me. So I would tell myself that. I also might give her some doctor names, medication names, get a head start on figuring things out. Number 3, what superpower would you bestow upon certain people if you could? I feel like I need to look up superpowers. Because for some reason my mind is blanking. I'm gonna look at a list. Oh, I spelled super wrong. Telekinesis, earth manipulation, light manipulation, recognition, superhuman strength, necromancy. What's that? Is that what I think it is? That sounds terrible. Not that one. Summoning the dead and like communicating with the dead. No. I don't want that. No, thank you. There's so many. Super smell, magnetism, teleportation, flight, maybe teleportation would be a really good one. I hate to drive, and I don't really care to fly. Being on a train is alright, but there aren't very many trains in the United States, as compared to other places. So I think that would be great, because it would take the worst part of traveling away from traveling, which is the travel part. Number 5. If you could be anyone other than yourself for 1 year, who would that be? Gosh, I feel like it might be nice to be like an Olympic athlete or something like that, like a world-class athlete. Someone who's maybe amazing at running or something like that. It would be really cool to be a gymnast too, but I feel like that involves more mental stuff, and I don't want to battle hurt this gymnast because I don't know how to do anything. Maybe some kind of Olympic level runner, long distance runner, because I feel like that would be amazing and fun. My body can't really take running and like too much impact anymore, so I think that's why my mind goes to, I think it would be really fun to run at a really high level, because when you're in shape like that, it feels amazing to run. When you're not so much, running is like the worst. Historical. Okay, the final section of the 4 is historical. What one past non-family person would you benefit from spending a day with? Would I benefit from spending a day with? I feel like it could be very beneficial to spend a day with an artist or a singer. Like, can you imagine being able to shadow one of the best artists or singers of all time for a day? That would be amazing. So maybe like Frida Kahlo. I just realized I have no idea how to say her name.
Frida Kahlo.
Frida Kahlo. There are so many words and names that I've only read and haven't really heard said out loud. But like Frida Kahlo, who is an amazing painter and very interesting person, and I find her health struggle very relatable. Or maybe like Ella Fitzgerald or Whitney Houston. Oh my gosh, imagine like getting a vocal lesson from Whitney Houston. That would be pretty amazing. Number 2, for the historical section, what era or period in time would you want to go spend 6 months in? Well, assuming that this is a magical scenario where I don't need any modern medicine, I could go to any time period. I think it'd be very fun to spend time sometime in the 60s. I love the fashion and in this magical, hypothetical scenario, maybe I will be a man and I will be like a concert pianist or something like that. Or a composer and a pianist, because then you get to make music all day. I will be magically good at piano, and I feel like you would get to hang out with a lot of other artists, and that would be a really interesting way to spend your time. What historical, non-family figure would you want to bring into now and show them current events for a month? Oh man. I think maybe I would want to bring someone who can, maybe help us in some way. Maybe some kind of great philosopher or something like that. I feel like a philosopher would have a good chance of maybe helping to make a positive impact on the world now. But I would have to research before I pick someone. Number 5. What historical family would you choose to be a member of, and why? Oh man, I'm the worst for this history section. Because I'm just like, I don't know if it sounds good to be in any historical family. Like, traveling back in time does not appeal to me. And then, what being like a royal, I don't know if it's a controversial opinion, but I feel like that sounds terrible. Like, yeah, you wouldn't be, starving, but it seems really sort of oppressive and not like a good time at all, but, maybe, some kind of ancient Greek or Roman family. I'm not educated enough about Greek and Roman history to know a specific family. Maybe the family of some philosopher or something, because I feel like that would be a really wonderful culture to experience. There's so many interesting things going on at that time in terms of art and culture. And that is the last question from Jeannie's questionnaire. This was fun to go through. If you want to share any of your answers to these questions in the comments, I would love to read it. I find myself thinking about that question that was in my last video, the Pinterest jewelry trends one. We also looked at general Pinterest trends, and one of them was those getting to know each other deeper questions videos. And one of the questions I answered was, are you a dreamer or a realist? And I said it was a dreamer, but now that I'm thinking about my answers to these questions, I'm like, am I a realist? Maybe I don't know myself that well, but I think maybe I'm just both. Can the two things exist at once? I feel like it does for me. Well, with that, I will call it a night. If you enjoyed this video, please